Good evening. This is an unusual start to a stream. I'm going to make a statement first and then we'll get on with normality. From myself on a personal level and my family, and also everyone from the Armoury TV, Paxton Road, Full-Time Sports Network, the Manchester United Agenda, and Cop Talk. We will wish to send our condolences to His Majesty the King and all of the royal family on the deeply sad news of the passing of Her Majesty the Queen, Queen Elizabeth II. That's all I've got to say right now. Good evening. So let's talk about football. Let's talk about football. It's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about football. Tonight's game of FC Zurich versus Arsenal finished in a 2-1 win for Arsenal. Marquinhos with his first goal for Arsenal on the 16th minute, followed by a Kurizu penalty on 44 minutes, and then Eddie with a 62nd minute winner. Let's get into the two type lineups, shall we? So FC Zurich had Brecker in goal, who was very good. Aliti on the left had a good game. The rest of the players they were all right. Aegon, who played up front for FC Zurich, looked very decent. Quite a nuisance. And then we get into the Arsenal lineup of obviously Matt Turner in goal. Didn't fill me with much confidence. This was my warning in pre-season and before the season started, that selling Leno, bringing Matt Turner in was a risk. Matt Turner is well known for not being very good with his feet, which is a big part of how we play football. And then we got the Tomiyasu was right back. He had a decent game. Rob Holding had a decent game. Gabriel, not such a decent game personally. Tierney looked decent. Xhaka looked decent. Lokonga looked decent. Vieira had glimpses of magic. Quite clearly not fully match fit right now. Marquinhos looked really good down the right. Eddie looked all right. But Martinelli looked all right. But if anyone can notice the same word I'm saying, is they were all right. This was not a great performance by Arsenal in the slightest. Did we deserve the win? Yeah, of course we did. But we were lucky. We were lucky tonight. We're not clinical enough. We lose our heads quite a lot. It's getting alarming now. On a personal level, it's like we just don't want to keep going for the jugular. We just want to pull back a little bit, and this is FC Zurich, a team that's in 9th in the Swiss league, a team that has had zero, of anything to be excited about recently. They've got through to this round by beating Linfield and Hearts. Great, well done. But this is Arsenal Football Club. This is where I've always been saying, where's our squad? Our squad is lacking depth and quality in depth as well. Matt Turner, for me, he's going to worry me if Ramsdale gets injured for a long term. You know, his shot stopping is well known for being really, really good. Don't get me wrong, it is. But you know, we've got Holding looked fairly decent. You know, he's bringing the ball out pretty well. Gabriel, his passing was a little bit lapse sometimes. Let's just say. Tudi had a pretty good game. You know, he was working really hard down the left. Marquinhos looked really good. His finish for his goal was sublime. The pass by Vieira and Eddie was sublime. You know, at that point, I'm thinking, okay, here we go. We're going for it. We're going to go 3-4-0 up. But no, this is not how Arsenal do it, is it? We then let them back in with a silly foul by Eddie, give FC Zurich the chance to score from the penalty spot. Second half, we didn't look much better, unfortunately. We still didn't just go for the attack. We made substitutions that we would thought would kill the game off, bringing Odegaard on, Saka on, even Jesus at one point as well. And there's just, I don't know what it is. I wish I could put my finger on the because it is, for me, it is a problem. It is a problem that we don't go for them and just attack. We lose our heads, we lose our concentration, we make silly errors, we lose the ball. Xhaka, for me, you know, in this new role as left centre midfielder, kind of like an attacking midfielder sometimes, I actually quite like him. And I'm not the greatest fan of Xhaka, but in his new role at the moment, he looks really good. Vieira looked really good. Beautiful passing, beautiful, you know, vision that he's got. Give him a few more games and, you know, he'll be, well, hopefully for me, hopefully he's challenging. But Man United have just scored, just to let you know. I think it might be offside though. It is offside. It's one of those where I'm just slightly worried about where we're going sometimes. And everyone knows I'm not an Arteta in, Arteta out person. I'm an Arsenal fan. That is all. I want the best for Arsenal Football Club. And right now, I know we've won 5 games and we've only just lost to United. We won tonight. I should be really happy. Yes, I am. I'm happy with the 5 games that we won. You know, the United game was a different situation. It's Old Trafford. It's United. You know, it's one of those games that can happen. But honestly, it's getting a little bit worrying that we can't just, I don't want to say the word because it's not the right day for it, but basically win a game by dominating possession, continuously press and pressurize their goal and actually score a goal. Like, yeah, we scored 2 tonight. Brilliant. Fantastic. We could have quite easily beaten them 4 or 5-0. You know, I did the preview and I said I knew we'd let a goal in. I'll be perfectly honest about that. I did say we'll let a goal in, but I was still expecting a 4-1 win. I remember King. Oh, there's King talking about it now. King said that, you know, he was looking for a 5-0 win, and yeah, that's what I was kind of expecting. I wasn't expecting that kind of result. Yeah, no worries, mate. You've got the link. You can come straight in. But yeah, I don't want to be too angry. This is not the day for me to be angry about it, but it's getting worrying. We are exactly. Satvic actually. You know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to post the StreamYard link into the chat, people. Anyone that wants to come on, more than welcome. I get where Satvic's confidence is coming from, but this is not just a this season problem. This is a constant problem, and I won't even say it's just under Arteta. To be honest, sometimes it's happened. It happened under Wenger, happened under Emery. I don't know what it is. There's something missing somewhere. Now, I know training's changed a lot in football, and Luke's saying it there. I'll just finish my point though before I get into Luke's comment. Is if we don't start scoring, and no, wasn't what I'd say. My brain is a bit frazzled today. I do apologise, but training's changed a lot since I was playing football. Like we used to have attacking coaches, scoring coaches, defensive coaches. It's kind of all in one nowadays. Um, there's like a big session, and it's not quite the same. And yes, you see people players scoring all the time in training and stuff against goalkeepers, but it's not under the same intensity as it should be. So I'm just slightly getting concerned that for us it's not working well. Maybe we need to try something different because we should be able to destroy this type of team quite easily, and we shouldn't have even been panicking at half time. At half time today it was 1-1, and I was like, that's not good. That's not good. If anything, I was a bit worried that we might actually lose, and the whole fan base would just absolutely melt down. But Luke here saying they got in behind quite a few times. It's very concerning. Better teams would have punished us like United did on Sunday. Exactly. And here's Satvik. Hello, Satvik. How are you?
Hi, Bobby. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's one of those weird days today in the UK and probably all over the world for most people. But yeah, the talk must continue, and unfortunately the performance didn't put a smile on my face. But I would like your opinion as well on the game because I've given mine now.
Yeah, it's just one of those games. Nothing to be very happy about, but I mean, it's a win is a win, so you can't be sad about it. But yeah, I mean, at least it isn't like previous years where even against sides like Olympiacos and I mean the lower sides, we somehow didn't get a result. At least we're getting those results now,
Yeah,
and hopefully by getting the results, at least we're ensuring that there is confidence and there are positives to take from it,
yeah,
as opposed to when we don't have a result, we don't even have that incentive to keep going. And at least here, now that we have the result, it's something to build on and get better
yeah, exactly.
at least.
Okay, so who stood out for you today in Arsenal's lineup? Who stood out?
Marquinhos, hands down.
Yeah, yeah. Who was there any player that was a bit alarming for you to see in our lineup today, as in their performance wise?
um, I think it was a very average day in office for at least 6 to 7 of our players, if I'll be completely honest. And I think only Marquinhos and yeah, probably only Marquinhos is the one. Yeah, only he was the one who probably stood out and made an impact. The others had a very average day, which is also why we only won 2-1. I think Eddie and Nketiah also had a good day. Obviously, he could have avoided giving the foul away. That was a silly one to give away. But otherwise, I think he had a pretty good game. He held up the ball well, which is something he's definitely improved on from the previous years. I remember when he used to come on as a sub in previous years, used to get the ball and then he didn't have it anymore. So
Yeah,
he's holding on to it better now. So that's a positive.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna mention one player, and I want your honest opinion on him. Matt Turner. Does he worry you?
I'll give him a few more games before I make a decision. I mean, Zurich was probably the easiest game we have in this group. So, assuming he will play all the Europa League games, I'd like to see him against the other sides that we have in the group. So, hopefully, that'll give us a better idea. Because honestly, I don't feel he was tested enough today.
Yeah,
So I think if you give him a few more games and um, we will, given our defense, we will face some shots and the keeper will get tested as Ramsdale does quite often. So I think that will definitely bring out whatever it is that we have to see, and his capabilities will be put to the test. So I guess it's a bit early to pass a decision on Turner, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, well, I'll give you some context to the my situation with Matt Turner. I knew about him before he came here. He is well
Mm,
known for not being good with his feet. He's a very good shot
yeah.
stopper, don't get me wrong. He's probably better than Leno shot stopping wise. But when it comes to his
Mm,
feet, he's awful. Now, obviously, that is a big problem with the way that Arsenal play.
yep.
So, you know, don't want it to ever happen. But if Ramsdale was to get an injury for 4 to 5, 6 weeks, maybe, let's just say, we would just have Turner as the option because obviously Leno's left. Would that scare you to have him there for, like, let's say 8 games?
Um, I'll put it this way: it's not ideal if that does happen, but I will definitely say this: we're much better prepared if that were to happen than we were last season, because with the additions of people like Saliba and Zinchenko, who are much more comfortable on the ball and can carry it for longer periods of time and still play a good pass in, as opposed to last season. So I don't think the over reliance on the goalkeeper's distribution is something that will put us on the back foot majorly this season, as it would have been last season. So it's not ideal if that happens, and as you said, Turner's distribution, if it isn't good, that's definitely a setback, but not as big as a setback because we have those additional players like Saliba and Zinchenko.
Yeah. I'm just going to get into a comment that Luke's just put here. Why did we sign him knowing Turner isn't good with his feet? Was it just for PR reasons, as Leno suggested? I would listen to Leno's statement. At least 95% of it is correct.
Okay.
Obviously, he obviously had a problem with, being basically kicked out of Arsenal. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, there is some truth into this. Unfortunately, I honestly do not understand because we went for Ramsdale for the reason that we all knew that he was good with his feet. He could distribute it very
Yep.
well, which is why he took Leno's place in the first place. But then to have a second goalkeeper that is exactly the same as Leno, basically, makes zero sense. You want a second goalkeeper that can do exactly the same as Ramsdale can. So why are we signing Mata? It doesn't make much sense. And then you think of his nationality and you go, "Oh, hello, that's a funny coincidence." But you know, listen to Leno as much as you want. I'd say that it's 95% accurate. There is a little bit of rubbish in there, but 95% it is correct.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather listen to Leno than I'd listen to Emi Martinez. So
Yeah, well, this is the thing, isn't it? It you know, it it's hard for me to get words out today because obviously situations that's happened today. But because I personally maybe would have given Cole Hine a bit of a chance because he's played recently in the Championship with Reading. I know he's
Mhm.
pretty good with his feet. He's not brilliant, but
Mhm.
I'd say he's probably better than Turner. Obviously, the really tall goalkeeper that we've got that's sent out on loan to Crew.
Okonkwo.
Yeah, I'm glad you can say his name because I can't. It will come out of. I'd probably
Yeah.
make it. I'd make up his whole new surname if I said it.
Mhm.
But yeah. So personally, I think we made a bit of an error there. I think we should have maybe scouted a bit better and got a better goalkeeper than Turner. Not saying Turner's a bad goalkeeper. He just doesn't
Oh, for
suit our
sure,
style.
for sure, for sure. I think that's an area where we've struggled since. I mean, since I was an Arsenal fan, to be honest, because we had, looking back at our goalkeepers, we had Chesney, then we had Fabianski, we had Ospina, then Czech, and then we had Leno and Ramsdale. Ramsdale was obviously the first signing, which I was a bit like, okay, now we have a quality goalkeeper. And then we again go and get Matt Turner and back into the same
Yeah, well,
cycle.
I was the same because a lot of people jumped on Ramsdale going, "Oh, why are we signing him? He's been relegated twice. He's played 80 games. He's been relegated twice with two different teams." And I'm like, it's to do with the way he plays football. It's got nothing to. Goalkeepers cannot stop. any team from being relegated. It's it's impossible the goalkeeper can stop your team
Yep,
from
yep.
being relegated. It's the players, not him.
Yeah.
He, to be fair, he had a very good shot stopping percentage as well, so he did pretty well even with poor teams. But it was the
Mhm.
way that he played, because we're obviously looking at David Raya as well from Brentford. He plays
Yeah.
exactly the same type of, but we were struggling with the price tag with him. But Ramsdale, I was excited, and I was one of, like you, I was quite excited when I knew we were getting him. I was like, yeah, that's a good one. But then I look at Matt Turner and I'm going, that's a big drop off. Like everyone's saying about the drop offs from, let's say, trying to think of someone here. We have a big drop off from Partey, then goes down to Sambi. It's a big drop off in quality.
Yeah.
That is a big drop off in goal, and that is like, we've got Tottenham on 1st of October. I'm not going to talk about this weekend's fixtures because there's a good chance that they're going to be postponed.
Yeah.
But looking ahead, 1st of October, we have got Tottenham.
Mhm.
If let's say Ramsdale got an injury, Turner was in goal for that game, I would expect Arteta to go, okay, we can't play out from the back now. Whilst we've got Turner in goal, let's stick with his strengths, which is shot stopping and kicking the ball up or throwing it out. None of this passing from the back, because it's not going to suit Turner, because he's going to make an error a lot more than Ramsdale is. And I'm not saying Ramsdale makes a lot of errors, because he doesn't, but the probability of it happening is going to be high.
I see your point, but at the same time, playing out for the back is something that the team has done for, I think, the last couple of years, and I don't frankly see it changing just because they they'll probably tell Matt Turner and improve his distribution rather than change our style of play. I think that the only time I see that changing is if we move to a five in the back, where we
Yeah.
have more support, and then we can play out from the back potentially. But yeah, I still think we'll still play out from the back, even if Matt Turner is in goal, because that's just become how we play. It's become fundamental to how we play, basically.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I don't know what it is with goalkeepers. They, I'm quite surprised that they can't pick up passing pretty quickly, because Leno, he was in our system for quite a while. He never got any better at passing with his own feet. I don't know what it is. It's not. It's one of, like, you're a footballer. You should surely be able to play with your feet as well.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just a goalkeeper and just go, I can't play football with my feet, so I'm just going to be a goalkeeper. It just doesn't happen. I had a friend when I was playing football myself, and he had the ability to actually be in goal, but also in midfield. He was that good with his feet, and he did
Manuel
do that
Neuer.
sometimes. It was so crazy. Luke's saying here, I am worried about the Spurs game, considering how easy teams find it to get in behind on the counter attack. Yes, especially when you're thinking of Richarlison, Kane, and Son. That is,
And I think
yeah,
a good point to add here is the first five games that we had, the teams that we faced didn't really have the potential, or like even if they did, they didn't try to exploit that particular tactic of playing the ball in behind and then just going at it so much as Man United did. So I think that is the first instance of this happening, and I wouldn't be too worried, because I would be worried if it happens again and we're still caught out again, like
yeah.
Liverpool were this against Napoli. They kept getting caught out repeatedly. So unless that happens, I won't be so worried, because I think we can still deal with it, and just a defensive mindset change should do the trick for us. We're still looking pretty good, so I won't be too worried.
Yeah, well, the next player I want to talk about is Gabriel. Now, he's had a few iffy games, I'd call them. Today, he didn't look great again. His passing, for me, is getting worse. I'm quite surprised it actually gets worse. I thought you can improve, not actually get worse. Um, so is he starting to alarm you a little bit, considering we only have one left centre back in our squad because now Mary's gone?
Gabriel, he's one of those players who has okay games quite a lot, right? So he doesn't have many games where you can say he wasn't good at all, because he's pretty solid at the back. So I mean, as it was with most, I think that's the case with most centre backs. His passing, yeah, as you say, hasn't been quite ideal these past few games, but I'd put it down to a rough patch maybe. I mean, let's just see how it keeps going on. We still have the other side covered pretty well. I mean,
Yeah,
Saliba has been passing extremely well, and I
yeah.
mean, emphasis on extremely. He's
I
hardly
know.
missed a pass,
Yeah.
so I'm
It,
not too worried.
even when he has errors with me, I still love him. He's one of those defenders. You can do a little error, I don't mind, but I still love you because he's just he even if it's like an error for like a couple of 10 minutes, a
Yeah,
little bit annoyed with him, but for the other 80 minutes, he looks good again. I'm like, yeah, you're
yeah.
fine, mate. Yeah, it's hard not to love that guy. There is another player I want to talk about. Let's just get the scores up here again. It was
And just to
what?
close out the Gabriel point, he has like the commitment that he has towards defense is really commendable. Like even when he does make a mistake, he instantly, I mean, realizes that what the mistake was that he made, and he acknowledges that. And unlike some defenders who look at the offside flag, he actually does acknowledge, and he
Yeah,
does try to improve. And even with the limited training footage that we do have access to, I see him working pretty hard. So I think he's a player who definitely will improve, and probably it's just a rough patch with the passing.
yeah. Okay, so you got to see Fabio Vieira today properly. I've
Yeah.
seen him for 3 years, so I already know my own opinions on this guy. What is your
Mhm.
opinion on Fabio Vieira?
He looks all right. I mean, he's no Odegaard, but he could be. So I'm optimistic after seeing this game at least. I mean, didn't give us much of a chance. I mean, his passing was pretty good, pretty pinpoint. Didn't give the ball away much. His physicality did not prove to be an issue, which I initially on seeing him thought it might. But then again, we played Zurich and not a Premier League team, so it will be interesting when he does finally come into the Premier League, how he fits in that midfield role. But yeah, if he plays alongside Party or ahead of Party, the physicality factor hopefully will be uh, nullified by Party behind him. So let's see how that plays out. But at least from the progressing the ball ahead and from the passing perspective, he definitely passes the initial tests. And let's see how that goes.
Yeah. Moss is in there making those comments. Big up to you, Moss, for tuning in. Man, you're a little weak. Yeah, there was. I was watching the game. They've decided not to do adverts in this country at the moment for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Um, Here's a comment that I would actually like you to respond to. Actually, so Arsenal is not playing well enough in defence. What would you like to say to that? Big up to Sarah there.
Yep, yep. Not performing well enough in defense this game, not so much. I think we were defensively pretty solid. Goal we conceded came down to a pretty silly penalty, which can happen even in the best of days to the best of players. Um, on the Man United game, again, as I said, that's happened to us the first time this season. So even though it happened twice, I'm willing to overlook it. Otherwise, we had three clean sheets before that. So defensively, I really don't see a problem. With injuries, potentially, because we're at that stage in this team where if one or two key players does go out, the backups aren't so stable. So I would rephrase the
Yeah,
statement she's
I was
put.
just saying. Did you just say backups to me, Safik?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would just rephrase her statement so to Arsenal would defense would be an issue
Yeah,
if we lose a couple of players.
yeah, squad players. Yeah, no backups in Arsenal. Thank you very much. Um,
Yeah,
you know me, I can't stand that word.
yeah.
Um, okay, so overall, what did you think of the actual whole game? Did you think it was well managed? Did you think the players were just off par? What's your opinion of the whole game?
I think it was a good balance. We gave Rob Holding a game, we gave Marquinhos a game, we gave Vieira, we gave Turner, so that's a good fair share of newcomers who haven't yet got a chance. We gave them a chance, and yet we got the result, which is what matters in the end. And if the foul hadn't been committed, we would have got a clean sheet as well. In which case, we would have looked at the game very differently. A 2-0 with a clean sheet, it's much more convincing than a 2-1, which is a very shaky result. So I would give the game a solid 7 out of 10. Strategy wise, pretty good. Nothing I can complain about. The subs were made pretty standard. Got in Bukayo Saka as well. He's been struggling a bit, so got a few minutes in for him. Strategy wise, I'm pretty happy. So yeah, a pretty good game. I mean, not the greatest. It's not a 3-0, it's not a 4-0, but I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to reading your ratings later in Discord. I'll be
Yeah.
looking out for your ratings, that's for sure. I'll do mine as well in a bit. So Sarah's gone back. If Arsenal play like this against any big team, Arsenal will surely lose. We need to improve. They are giving the opponent chance to counter attack, and that's not good. I have to
Oh,
agree
for
with that one.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure, but then again, if it's a big team, we go into the game with a totally different approach, totally different players as well, and yeah, hopefully those two things will definitely make a difference in those big games, and yeah, so this is
Yeah.
definitely we went into this game with we knew how Zurich were playing, and we wanted to give our younger players a run and see how they fit in well. And obviously they've come in new, so fitting in with the existing players, that team chemistry, all of those things played a factor. But yeah, big games definitely. But if we put in the showing, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I have to admit that Sambi and Xhaka at the moment uh, are standing out quite really well to me, to be honest. Sambi has definitely improved from last season.
Yeah.
Xhaka is loving this new attacking role. He looks an
Yes. Yeah.
actual threat, and he doesn't look scary defensively, which I actually do like myself because I can't stand in defence. But I, I can't moan too much about Arteta tonight. I think the subs were spot on tonight. He obviously saw that Arsenal were struggling. Basically, put the first teamers back in. Um, but then I can also say, why are we not being so clinical? And that will come from training. So is he
Mhm.
not doing the things right on the training field in the first place to get onto the playing field? Because something's missing. And before you come back from that one, my dear friend King has here. Hello, King. Hello, how are you? How are you?
Yes.
But no, you can carry on with your comment there, Sapik. So I just wanted to bring in King before.
Yep. Yep. Welcome, King. Good to have you.
Uh, Good to
Yeah.
see you.
So yeah. Yeah. So on that, I feel we're pretty good to go. I mean, I'll just wait a few more games before making any comment on that. So let's just see how that goes, and then let's take a call.
Good evening, King. Have you been asleep?
I've had a very long day.
Well,
Very long day.
hopefully we won't be too much longer. But I've obviously asked Satfik loads of questions. I've grilled him for 35 minutes now.
Oh,
Now it's your turn, King.
okay.
So what's your opinion on the game that we watched this evening?
Well, I was a bit disappointed, but maybe my expectations were a bit too high.
Yeah,
I
5
mean,
0 just saying. 5-0. He said
yeah,
5-0, just say no.
yeah. I mean, I do think we need to take into consideration it was the first time these players play with each other. Usually it takes 2, 3 games before they get a better understanding because we had a lot of new players. I mean, it was Vieira's first game, Marquinhos, it was his first game. We had a new back line that usually don't play with each other, a new midfield. And maybe I was expecting a bit too much. And yeah, we continue to play with this new high line. Um, it's not working very well right now. So let's see if we can improve it and develop it because yes, we will score more goals than we scored last season, but we will also concede more goals. So I do think we need to find a balance on when to use it and when to be a bit more pragmatic. It was great to see Marquinhos. I think what impressed me more with him was his decision making. Like he looked really sharp. Like he had his head up. Like he knew when to cross, when to dribble, when to protect the ball. Like that impressed me more than anything because usually when you see young players, especially from South America or from Africa, they are really physically they are usually there, but decision making because they haven't grown up in an academy. Usually they like we saw with Martinelli. It takes a bit time, but he looked really good, Marquinhos, and I understand now why they didn't send him on loan. I know it's Europa League. I know it's one game. It's very hard to say if he will be able to be a cover for Saka, but he did impress me. I was glad to see Eddie score again. He needs to keep on scoring. I think he played well, and I think he needs to get more chances in the league. Um, Martinelli looked a bit tired today. Vieira, obviously, you can tell that he's missed a lot of football past few months, but you can also tell that he has the intelligence and the technical ability, and he will come good for us. Give him a few more games, and you will see a very solid player. And Tierney looked good in that inverted role,
Yep.
which is good to see. I know a lot of Arsenal fans have been concerned that if he will be able to play that line, if we are moving away from his skill set, but it was good to see him. He put in some good blocks as well. But for me, what's a big concern is again like Matana looked good in goal, except when he needs to do his passing,
Mm.
and that's the only thing that is a bit weird when we bought him. For me, when I was asking people that watch him because I've never watched him before, was that everybody agreed that he was a good goalkeeper, but similar to Leno, his passing is awful, and if we got rid of Leno because his passing isn't good enough, then why get someone in again that his passing isn't good enough if we're going to continue to play from the back?
Yeah.
So that's a bit worrying, especially after when we've heard what Leno said in his comments. Yes, we can't take everything as truth, but it does raise some eyebrows and some questions to the coaching staff and to the transfer strategy. Was that move in the interest of Arsenal football team, or was it a move for Arsenal global
Yeah.
team?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
yeah, for sure. If there's any transfer decision that we can question in the recent transfer history that we have, it's definitely Matt Turner because even before that, we were in a situation with Ronaldson and so many other keepers. Even we have Carl Hein and Arthur Okonkwo, where we don't really have that number two in the team. And we were pretty clear we had to get a number two, and it was very clearly he was going to be the number two. That is, if Ramsdale is get injured, we have that player who comes in is going to be the backup and serve us for the games to come. So we're really not clear why Matt Turner came in, but yeah, we move.
Yeah,
It is what it
and
is.
Yeah.
and it's an interesting comment there from Moss. He's saying holding in a high line is scary. It is scary. Holding is the a very old school defender where you want to play him in a back five, low block, let him tackle, let him head balls out, let him clear. That's what he's good at, and
What a
that's why
second.
for me, I'm surprised why we haven't really tried to get rid of him, to get someone who suits our style of play more. Because if the aim is to get into the Champions League, if 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 Gabriel gets an injury, we're not far away from having to rely on holding in a lot of games because Saliba and Ben White won't be able to play every game, and we
Yeah.
know
Yep.
that Tomiyasu has. injury concerns. Even before he joined us, he had calf injuries at Udinese. Was it Udinese we bought him?
Bologna.
No,
Bologna.
Bologna. Sorry, yeah. When he was at Bologna, he had calf injuries there as well. So for me, these things, when you have this project and you've been in charge for as long as Edu and Arteta has been, these things should have been addressed. And I'm sure if Rob Holding is on a transfer list, he would get a team in the Premier League. We saw a lot of teams were looking for centre backs this season,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we turned down 2 offers this summer for him. So
yeah, exactly. So you see, for me, it's just sometimes we say we have this clear plan, yeah. But if we have this clear plan, then let's just include people that can play the way we want to play. Don't understand certain decisions that we make. It doesn't add up to me. Like
no.
I don't get it. For me, honestly, it's a weird one. And again, like we make naive decisions, and then when it comes to bite us in the arse at the end of the season, we wonder why. But I could have told you last season, Partey's gonna get injured at some point of the season. Kane is gonna get injured at some point. Like these things are easy to predict, and if I can do it without having all the data, analysts, professors, and stats and all of that, these people that are there, like I don't understand. Especially when they say that they have ambitions, they want to challenge City and Liverpool, and they want to close the gap, and they really want to kick on this season, and they don't, like Edu said, that top 4 is not good enough. Then build a team where, I know there's no guarantees in football, but at least build a team where people will look at that squad and say that, yeah, bar anything crazy, this team should definitely finish above top 4.
Yeah. Because what's the word I don't like, Satvik?
Backups.
I can't stand the word backups.
Yeah, especially now, Bobby. It's not. I understand in the first 12 months. I understand that will be the case, but now, in December, it's 3 years, guys. 3 years. That's a lot of transfer windows.
It's a lot of money spent.
Yeah.
It's not like we haven't. We've done it cheaply. We've spent a lot of money, and that guy last night from Napoli, Anguissa.
Yeah, from Fulham.
Next to nothing.
I know.
Next to nothing.
And you could tell when he was playing for Fulham that he was too good for them. Like he didn't always stand out. Like and these things, Bobby. Yeah, these are the things that sometimes baffles me. Where you see these gems in the Prem that are cheap, just go and get them.
Yep. I would happily have had an on. Oh, carry on, Satvik. Sorry.
Yep. I was just talking about that show we had during the transfer season where I came on your show and you were talking about free agents we could potentially sign, and Dan Axel Zagadou being one of them. And he still hasn't signed to any club. He's still a free agent. So
yeah, and even like again, I'm the January window that passed. It pisses me off sometimes because I look at Bruno Guimaraes.
You got to bring him up again, haven't you? That was just painful.
But it's annoying, Bobby. You have a player, who's one of the best in his position. He suits the profile in terms of he can play instead of Partey. He can play with Partey. He can play the 6. He can play the 8. He can even play the 10. He works hard. He's not a lazy player, so you won't have an attitude problem. He got resale value. He's a Brazilian international, and he wanted to come to Arsenal. His agent was open to take him to Arsenal. We were crying for midfielders.
Yeah.
Why? And it wasn't an expensive deal. It cost as much as Fabio Vieira probably cost us.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we have done that?
Exactly. And it's definitely not me saying I wouldn't want Fabio Vieira, but the what we're trying to explain here is that we could have got Bruno in January. I think
Yeah.
that would have appeased the fans a little bit. It
Yeah.
might have got us top 4. We
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
You know, no one can tell what would have happened.
Yeah.
But that would have been one player that was already added in, ready for the summer transfer window. We would have probably still got Fabio Vieira in the summer window anyway.
Yeah.
And that then we'd have Bruno. Oh, Sociedad was close there. Sorry, I'm watching. I'm also watching it.
Yeah. Me too.
I can multitask, whilst I can do streams and watch games at the same time.
Wow. Good clearance
yeah.
from Martinez, though.
But there was one player you haven't mentioned, because I asked Satfig about 3 players. Turner was one, Fabio Vieira was another, but there was also Gabriel that I asked about Satfig. Are you getting slightly concerned?
But I've talked about Gabriel for a very long time, and I've gone back and forward with Tariq, and he used to rate him highly. But ever since I told him about Gabriel, he's starting to get concerned. And for me, another player.
Sorry, is this a penalty?
Looks like it, yeah. It's a penalty.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So for me, the problem with Gabriel is not that he's not a good defender. The problem with Gabriel is that he's not a good playing from the back defender. He's not comfortable. He's okay, but it's not the way we want to play and how important the centre back is in our system. He's not the guy. He really isn't the guy. And you can tell. You saw it today, even against lower opposition. Like, he struggles.
Yeah.
His passing is terrible. He's very rash. He's too aggressive for my liking.
Yeah. It's because I am aware of, we were looking for a left centre back, and there was well-known links with a Leverkusen centre back, so I'm more than happy to say his name. Soda. But for me, he's a bit of a downgrade on Gabriel, because he's not very good himself. So that is a position that I feel that we really do need to really think hard about, because he needs to be better than Gabriel. And that's not me saying Gabriel's bad, because he's not.
No.
But he's not quite of. He's, for me, there's a quite clear difference between Saliba and Gabriel.
Yeah,
and that
we've
shouldn't be
already seen it. Even Gabriel noticed that Saliba is on a different level, and that's a problem for me. When someone is 21 comes in and plays 4 or 5 games, and you can already tell that he's levels above your partner.
Yeah, it's a bit like you guys probably too young for this, but this is like going from Tony Adams to Andy Linegan in centre back. It's such a drop that most people forgot that Andy Linegan ever played for Arsenal. But he was always on the subs bench. He was always never there, because George Graham never really changed. But they have scored. So United are now losing. So that's just going to annoy me even more, because we lost to them. I might turn this off in a minute. But so there was the 3 players. So because I did ask Tariq to come on, but I don't know if he's still doing his show. So
maybe. But if you ask him, I told him about Gabriel for a very long time, and that's why when we were linked to Lisandro Martinez, I thought that was the plan, but then I heard that we wanted to play him left back. So
that's the reason why he chose United.
Because he wanted to play centre back. Yes,
but to be honest, after seeing Varane with Martinez, I think it would have worked
100% with Saliba. Saliba takes the like, he's a good player, Martinez. And I think that Saliba is more physical than Varane.
What were you going to say, Satfik? Sorry, mate.
I was just saying, would a fair assessment of Gabriel be that he's good enough for that between 4th and 5th in the Premier League team kind of player? He's just about there, but not quite good enough to what we need.
I mean, he would be the perfect, for me, kind of rotation player, where when we play certain teams that will be physical, like if we're playing Brentford, for example, and there's an Ivan Toney up front, I don't mind a Gabriel, because he can take that battle with him. But when we are playing against teams where we're supposed to dominate the ball, and it won't be like a very physical game, then we need someone who's actually comfortable on the feet. And I wonder if eventually, if the season goes on longer, if we will see Ben White and Saliba play as a pair.
It's possible. Yep. Yep.
The only
It's-
problem is that Arteta is obsessed with playing a left-footed centre back as a LCB
Yeah.
because
yeah.
he has his angles that he wants to use. Even though Saliba's played a left-sided centre back many times before.
Yeah, but it's all this left-footed stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
He's sometimes I think he plays FM too much, to be honest. That it has to be a left centre back, and I'm like,
that is, he's overdoing it.
yeah, he does.
I know, honestly, I understand to some point. It's with playing from the back, the angles. But when you have someone who's as comfortable on the ball as Saliba is with both feet,
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. You gain because in the end, I think Saliba's left foot passing is better than Gabriel's left foot passing. So
yeah. I just want to quickly get onto this comment from Sam Ao. Big up to
Yeah.
Sam. Hope you're doing well, mate. Playing the high ball is really risky. Teams will take note. Well, of course they will. They'll be, especially Tottenham. Tottenham are going to love this. And Brentford, because I think I said to you, was it yesterday we spoke about the Brentford game?
yeah,
That is the one I'm the most concerned about. But now I'm thinking also maybe Everton as well with Anthony Gordon and Iwobi's passing. You got Malpe, who's he's going to wind our defenders up. You just know it.
yeah,
You can just imagine it now. He's just going to just try and wind one of them up, just to try and get a red card. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game against Everton this weekend. There will be a preview on this channel at some point. I will let everyone know because I don't know myself. But but obviously, probably the most likelihood is the games will be postponed this weekend. But we're still waiting for the actual announcement.
But they're gonna have to announce it soon then, so fans don't travel.
Yeah, it'll probably be first thing tomorrow morning. I would have thought.
Do you think it's gonna be a bank holiday tomorrow, or will people open as usual?
There will be a day of mourning, but yeah,
Probably Monday.
Yeah, the plans will all come out probably more tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we don't really want to get onto that too much. So I was waiting for Tariq. Tariq's still busy, so I might as well go straight into the ratings. So I'm going to start with you, Satvic, with Matt Turner. What's your rating from Matt?
I'd say 7.
Matt's a
Not
7.
much. Not much he could have done about the penalty, and yeah, because the passing isn't so good, I'd put it down to a 7.
Okay. Moss, Moss. It's because I've got Moss in the chat. It's King, Tommy. I'll give you Tommy.
I think I give him an 8. He was good. Excellent passing again. I know people like to talk about Zinchenko and all of these fancy players, but I think Tomiyasu is so underrated. Like he's one of my favorite players. Like no nonsense defender, but also very good passing.
Okay.
Yep,
Well,
he keeps it simple.
Sorry, say that again, Satvic.
He keeps it simple. He doesn't complicate and look for unnecessary lines to the defense.
Yeah.
It's crisp.
I'll take Holding. I'll give him a 7. Holding did what Holding does well. So Satvic, you've got Gabriel.
6.
6.
Could have had a better day. I just hope it's a rough patch and not something that goes on for much longer. But yeah.
Okay, so that gives you King Tierney.
Yeah, Tierney think I had another one who's had a good game today. It was good to see him back at his best, even though it was a new role for him. So I think I'll give him an 8, considering he played very different to what he's used to.
Okay. So that gives me Fabio. Yay! I did not fix that, everyone. I'm just saying I did not fix that. I'm gonna give him a 7 because it wasn't one of his best, but as we've both said, you can clearly see that he hasn't played enough. But his passing is something else. Honestly, that passing is just going to be crazy. So that gives you Satvic Sambi.
Where is he? I think he's dropped off the stream.
Oh, has he? Savvy's back.
Okay.
Savvy's back. So Satvic, you've got Sambi then.
I was hoping I'd get Xhaka, but okay. Sambi, solid 7.5. I mean, he's getting better.
7.5. Jeez.
He's getting better. I hope I'll see
Who's
him.
giving half marks? I'm not giving half marks. 7 or an 8.
Okay, 8 in that case. 8.
Okay, good. 7.5. Jeez. Right. It doesn't help me with the things I do. Right.
No.
King, that gives you, Shaka.
Oh, your favorite player?
To be fair, Satvik,
Yeah.
what did I say about him earlier? I did actually give him his praise. I actually do like him in this role at the moment.
Yeah, his new role, honestly, is a
Yeah.
new player, and I think we need to turn a corner from whatever we thought about him before.
Yeah, exactly.
Is a new role, and he was good today. I have to give him an 8. He was very physical. He was good with his passing. He was covering a lot of ground, and he does looks more mature now. He stopped with this idiot thing where he gets too aggressive and do stupid things, which is good to see that he's finally maturing. Honestly, he had a
Yeah.
good game, Granit.
So
And
that gives
it's
me,
absolutely beautiful to see him in those advanced spaces. We're so used to see him sticking back and totally unable to find a pass in any direction and then passing it back to the defenders. But in that advanced position, we can really see his passing prowess, and he's even finding really crisp assists and pass between the lines, which is really nice to see. So
Yeah.
apart from Jesus finishing and Odegaard being awesome as always, I think that's the biggest positive I see, at least this year.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's spot
I
on,
agree.
Satvik. So I get Marquinhos. Haha, yes.
Oh,
9, easily 9.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
he's something else. I don't think he's quite ready for Premier League, only because this was FC Zurich. I do think he needs like half an hour's here, half an hour there. Make sure he's physical and ready for the left backs of the Premier League. It could be a totally different, but I'm definitely excited by him. I think we said it last night that he's between under 21 standard and Premier League standard. He's a bit like a Balogun.
Yeah,
He's in a bit
too
of a
good
mix.
for the under 21s.
Yeah,
Not yet
but
ready
we're not.
for.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
and look at Balogun now. He's
I know.
smashing in the league.
Yeah.
So and maybe Marquinhos will do that this season. So so that gives you Satvik, Eddie.
Without the penalty, it would have been 8, but I'll give it a 7. The finish was strong. It was as good as it needed to be, but the penalty was. I mean, if we didn't have the penalty, the game would have been an 8 or 9. So,
Yeah, spot on.
7 for me.
Brilliant. Martinelli for you, King.
I think Martinelli today was not his best game. He should have scored in the first half, and he wasn't very effective. Unfortunate. I thought he was going to tear them up, and he took some weird positions today. He played very central.
Yeah.
Almost like a 10.
Yeah.
Which you don't get the best out of him in those areas. You want him to run against the defender. So I gotta have to give him a 6, unfortunately. And I do like Martinelli, but 6.
Brilliant stuff. I'm just going to get onto this comment. DWTT.
Yeah.
Hello, Bobby, which I'm guessing is me. King, Satvik, and Chatman. Hope you're doing well, DWT. But yeah, thanks for making me smile anyway by spelling my name wrong. So it's always funny when I see my name spelled wrong. It's hilarious. People used to put IE instead of Y. That was always fun. So
Bobby B.
Yeah, so I get Zinchenko, so I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he did decent enough coming on. That was decent. So that gives you Satvik, Odegaard.
Odegaard didn't have much time to make as big an impact. I would say a solid 7.
Okay. Do you get Starboy, King? You get Saka.
Yeah, I have to be a 6. I don't think he did anything wrong, but he didn't do anything special. I kind of felt like, again, we made so many subs and kind of killed the rhythm of the game a bit.
Yeah. So that gives me Jesus. This is a tough one. I would say 6.5, but I've already banned myself from putting a 0.5. So
that's on yourself there.
I know. I'm going to say 7 just because I like him.
Okay.
But we are going to all rate Arteta. So, Satvic, what would you rate Arteta performance, like tactically, first team lineup, and all that stuff, subs as well? So, what would you give him out of 10?
I would say 7 today. I would have maybe wanted to see one more young player who hasn't played start since it is Zurich.
Yeah.
But yeah, a pretty good starting lineup. And King said the subs killed the momentum a bit. And yeah, I would say it did. But that didn't affect the result. So I am willing to overlook it for this one game.
Okay. King?
Yeah, I mean, we won away from home. My concern right now is that I understand, like, we want to implement a new system. We want to go down more of the city route where you play risk ball possession football with a very high line. But for me, if you do that, then you need a Rodri there, you need a prime Fabinho there, and you don't have that. I mean, Sambi is a lot. He's very talented, but he's not that. So I think I'm gonna have to give it. It's hard. It's 7. I think 6 maybe is too harsh because we won. So I'll give
Yeah.
him a 7. Yeah.
See, the problem is, I'm like you, King. I'm torn between a 6 and a 7
Yeah.
because something's not right. I don't know
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
is.
You feel it as well.
Yeah, something's just not right. Why we're not?
That's why you've got to have the 0.5, Bobby. I told you.
I think in Discord, I can't remember who keeps doing the 0.5. I think it might be Moss that keeps doing 0.5, and every time he does it, I'm like, seriously, just choose one, 6 or a 7. But no, yeah, I'm going to go. Because you said between a 6 and a 7. I'm going to go with a 6.
Yeah.
Because then
I
we're
get
kind of
I
we're
get that
evening
because
ourselves
I
out.
was more towards it. It was just because we won away. That's why. But I get it. Like, our defense is not. It looks so shaky,
Yeah, it
and
does.
it's a problem. Like, it's too easy for teams to score against us. That's my concern. They
Yeah,
don't have to do a lot to get a goal or good opportunity. And the reason why it used to work so well for Liverpool before was that they used to do that offside trap very effectively.
yeah,
But that's very hard. It's very hard. And the reason why I used to work for City so much is because they had Kyle Walker's recovering pace. So even if they missed, because he was so fast and so physical, he would caught up with the winger or the striker.
yeah,
But none of our fullbacks are that quick. Saliba is probably our quickest defender.
yeah.
So for me, again, like, if you have a clear plan on how you want to play and all of that, make sure you have the right players for it.
Exactly. See, you're with me, King. But obviously, this has been a rather strange review. Obviously, I had to make a statement before I
Yeah,
started the stream. Made my statement. It's a bit of a weird day. I don't know when we'll be back with the next show. Obviously, it depends on what happens this weekend.
yeah,
But if anyone wants to check out what the Armoury TV and everyone that we're connected with want to say on the situation that's happened, please start the video again. I don't really want to go into it again because it's just going to upset me again, to be honest.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, thank you ever so much, Satvic and King. Satvic, tell everyone where they can find you, if they can find you anywhere.
Yep, mainly on the Discord server, both on yours and Gurutak.
There you go. King, where can they find you?
Yes, guys, you can find me on King's Football Show. You can find me on the Discord, and you can probably find me on various streams on Tariq Talks and on Football Value TV. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to all of us.
Exactly. You'll find me doing streams at stupid times of the day. I did one at 11 o'clock this morning. Not to do with what's happened today, more to do with Graham Potter. Very
Yeah,
strange. We were the second channel on the whole of YouTube to announce it. We were very proud this morning. We got 1,000 views in that one stream. It was crazy.
yeah,
But yeah, I was going to do a stream tomorrow, but I've got a horrible feeling it's going to have to be cancelled or at least postponed because I was going to do a WSL preview.
Yeah.
It was also the WSL transfer deadline day today, so I was going to talk about all that. But if it has changed, I will probably postpone it till next week. You'll find me on FCSN. You'll find me here on Armoury TV. You'll also find me on Football Radio's TV. I am pretty much everywhere. But guys, thank you ever so much for tuning in. Man United are still losing, so that's a positive as well.
Yeah.
Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to everyone that's been viewing. But right now, we are definitely out here. Take care, everyone.